Today's quote is entitled, "You are responsible." You are always responsible for how you act, no matter how you feel. Isn't that interesting? You know, like sometimes we think, well, I feel a certain way, therefore I act a certain way, so it's okay. You know, you did something, made me angry, so I'm yelling at you. And what's wrong with that? You deserve to be yelled at. Anyway, I'm angry. So that's what people do when they're angry, they yell. So what we want to learn is some emotional control. We're learning mind control. We know we should control the mind. Manmana bhavama bhakto. Krishna says, beginning, 7th chapter, learn how to practice yoga with mind fixed on me. First verse of 7th chapter, yes. And so many verses about the mind, and so many verses about sense control, right? Focus, as the tortoise pulls his limbs within the shell, like that. Lust can never be satisfied. There's so many verses, 2nd chapter, about controlling the mind, controlling the senses. And throughout Gita, Bhagavad Gita, so much about mind and sense control. What about emotional control? Well, Prabhupada said emotions are subtle aspects of the mind. So if we're talking about mind control, that also includes emotional control. Thinking, feeling, and willing. So what are emotions? It's the feelings. It's when the thoughts turn into feelings. Those are called emotions. You can have thoughts without feelings. You can say, that's a nice house, and have no emotional response. It's just intellectually you can understand. It was built well, it's nice colors. You look at it, you could look at it from an engineer's perspective, an architect's perspective. And you could have absolutely no interest in the house and no emotional relationship. It's just a thought. But if you see the house and you feel, that's a beautiful house, I'd love to live in a house like that, beautiful colors, beautiful design, and it's a more of an emotional experience, then the thought that it's a nice house becomes the feeling that it's a nice house. So thinking, feeling, and then willing is the last stage of the mind where I want to buy that house. I have to have that house. I'm going to go up to that owner right now and say, I have to buy your house. So, emotional control. So don't think emotional control is not part of our philosophy because it's not put in those terms. Like today you have emotional management, emotional intelligence, but we have it also. So what is it? Well, you do something that upsets me. Now I feel upset. But what do I do and what do I say? That's emotional control. So just because I'm upset and just because you did the wrong thing, I am not justified in acting in a way that isn't Krishna conscious. Now that sounds reasonable, doesn't it? Let's go back. What did I just say? Justified in acting in a way that's not Krishna conscious. Is there any justification for acting in a way that's not Krishna conscious? Of course not. Do we ever think subconsciously that we're justified to act in ways which aren't Krishna conscious? I would say yes. I would say that's not uncommon to think I can act in a way that's not Krishna conscious if I have some rationale around it. Not smart. It's not right. So that's the point of today's quote. Don't ever think you can rationalize your way into acting in a non-Krishna conscious way. Don't ever think you're not responsible for how you act. Even if someone does something wrong, even if you're emotionally surcharged, you can control your actions. If you can't control your emotions, at least control your actions. And as you become more mature, more advanced, more purified, you'll be able to better control your emotions. So things which used to upset you won't upset you. But still, what this quote today is talking about is even if you're on an emotional level, you feel like lashing out or you feel like saying something, learn control. Learn to control yourself, not rationalize it. Well, he deserved it. Why did you do that? That wasn't Krishna conscious. Well, he deserved it. Prabhu, what verse is that? That's my joke. You can borrow my joke. If somebody says or does something that's not Krishna conscious, just say, Prabhu, Mataji, What verse is that? I haven't read that verse. That, he did something wrong, therefore I can get a hammer and knock him in the head, so to speak. What verse is that? Is that in the 19th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita? Yeah, I think it's in the 19th chapter. Yeah. I joke with people, I think a lot of us have a 19th chapter because we do and say things that aren't in the first 18. So we have to write the 19th. That's our own chapter, our own rationale for doing things which aren't in the other 18 chapters. So you get the point. Think about it. It's an interesting point.